Welcome back to the channel. This is Jesse's World, and I'm Jesse. And yeah, guys, I'm just going to get right into it. I did probably not the exact right thing when it comes to my car with the Unicorn, but the shocks for this car are unobtainium. I looked everywhere for them. I tried to find the exact ones that were on my car, could not find them anywhere. I ended up going to a dealership or a auto repair store, like a fast lube suspension place, and he looked up the part number and basically said that he can't get them either, not aftermarket or anywhere online, that the only place to purchase them is straight from Chrysler as new old stock, and that they are $500 a piece. This car has, as I've said before, at this point in time, about 267 or 268,000 miles on it. And I looked up the Kelley Blue Book on it, and it's like best case scenario, like $2,000 for the car. Worst case scenario, about $1,000. So about what it would cost to buy both of the rear shocks. So I kind of made my own. I got ones that are made for a Sebring, just not my Sebring. And yeah, I had to cobble together some stuff. I had to buy the metal sleeve bushing separate, and the rubber bushings that go around it separate. The ones I bought, I had to cut the bushings out of it because they weren't long enough. So yeah, it's working. The shocks support the car just fine, and protect it against bumps and stuff. But the problem I'm having right now is that the bushings are too short. They're only about that wide, and they need to be about that wide. And so they keep sliding down toward the rear of the car, away from the center of the metal shock sleeve that goes in the bushing. But I think I figured out how to solve that problem, and I'm going to fix it today. Okay, so the way I'm going to fix the issue that I'm having with the shock sliding down the metal bushing is I've got these two sets of Strutmate mounting kits. Let me see if I can get that in the picture here. And I've got two sets of them inside of here. I've got these rubber bushings that appear to be the right size, I think. I thought I had the old bushing around here somewhere. But I think that this hole here should be the right size to go over the metal sleeve and make it so that there's no room for the shocks to slide. If there's no room for them to slide, they can't slide, because these are a nice hard rubber. So it should prevent it from moving. I don't know if I will have to use one whole section or if one half will work. And if one half will work, I'll probably use the half that has that little piece sticking up on it. But we'll see. For now, I basically have to tear down the car, jack the car up, rip the wheels off of it, and pull the shocks out so I can move the shock back up the metal sleeve, and then put one of these on it and see if I need just one or if both are going to be required. But that's what I'm going to work on right now. Alright, so this is the shock that I got, and it, like I said, it works just fine for supporting the car and keeping it from, doing things that shocks are supposed to prevent. But this is the problem I'm having. See how the shock has slid from the center all the way over to the left, and because it's slid all the way over, it's rubbing and squeaking, and well, it needs to not do that. So
these are the bushings that I got, and it looks as though, let's see, this is the smaller of the two. That smaller one would be almost just enough. So this bigger one, it's a little bit fatter. If you put them together, you can see it's a little fatter, it's a little wider. So I think I'm going to use this one to fill the gap on this left-hand side so that that can no longer slide. But in order to do so, I have to take the shock out, which means I have to take the shock bolt off and the mounting hardware in the trunk and slide the shock out. Okay, so to get the shocks out, you have to take that nut out of there, or off of there, which is I've already done. And then on this side, same thing, there's a nut that goes on top of that stud that you have to take out, which again I have already taken off. Those are 15 mil nuts. Down here there's this bolt, the shock bolt that goes through the shock, that you have to take that nut off of this side and pull the bolt out, and that is an 18 millimeter. Okay, so the easiest way that I've figured to get this off without causing any problems is I have my jack here, and I've got my axle nut propped up underneath of it, and I have the axle nut, if I can get this in here, up underneath of the shock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the shock up to relieve the tension and pressure from the all of the suspension pulling down on the shock, and it's going to take the tension off of this shock bolt. So all I want to do is crank it up just a little bit, so that basically the only tension on it is what little bit the shock is putting on it, but it should make to where that nut bolt combination comes off there pretty easy. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's a little bit blurry, but you zoomed in as much as I can get you in here. So I'm going to put the my half-inch drive with an 18-inch or 18 millimeter socket on it on here, and I got an 18 mil wrench. I'm going to put it on the other side. Yeah, put it in a move. So I broke it free because I don't want to sit here spinning on it forever. I do have my little, I've got my real cheap Hitachi Impact. It does not have enough gusto to back this nut off. So I got this out now. Got it out, and there's little to no pressure on it right now. Came out real super easy because I used the jack to take the pressure off of the shock. Now the shock should just come right out. Go. Okay, so now you can see the issue that I'm dealing with. It has pushed itself all the way over, and it's crooked, and the shock ring down here at the bottom, see this here, it's wearing right here against the inside of the lower control arm and causing squeaking noises and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to video this part because it always sucks and it always takes me forever, but I'm going to re-shove that bushing here all the way back across and center it up. And then, like I said, probably, more than likely, let's see here, I'm sure I can make this fit on here. One way or another, I'll make it fit on there. It's a little bit small, but that's good. That just means it won't move. But I'm going to put one of these on here. Let's just see if I can hold this still. Stop turning. Okay, so if I put this one on here, I don't know, the small one might be the way to go. The big one might be too big. So I might just be putting the small one on. But I'll put it on this side over here once I get this re-centered back on here, and then it just can't move. It won't be able to move over because this is clearly much bigger than the small one is, or than the bushing and the hole for the lower portion of the shock is. So that should just solve my problem, and I won't have to deal with it again, at least until I need to replace these shocks, which hopefully won't be until after, well, the engine fails on this car or something else detrimental like the transmission. Okay, so I know this is probably kind of jerry-rigged and whatever, but I got both bushings on both sides. This one's a little far out a little bit, but once I get it inside of the lower control arm and I tighten it down, it'll just push it right in there. And then that shock is not moving left or right, and I will hopefully never have to worry about it again, at least not for the life of the shock. But yeah, I guess I'm going to put it all back together now. That should do it for the passenger side. Now I just got to take it all apart and do it again on the other side. Alright, that's it. So I got up in the car and I tightened up these the nuts that are on these studs up here inside. Those two nuts are tight. And then I reinstalled the shock down here and put it in there with those bushings in there. And like I said, that should not go anywhere. I really doubt that it's going to move either direction, and if it does move either direction, it's not going to move much, but that should prevent any more rubbing on this lower control arm. And basically that's it. I'll go ahead and put the tire back on. I did, as I said earlier, these camber arms that I installed, I did adjust it out more so that it pulls. By adjusting it out more, let me just stand out of the way. As you can see here, the tire on the inside is worn a little bit. So by adjusting it out more at the top, it's going to pull this tire further this way and re-angle it this way. But hopefully whenever I get it aligned tomorrow, the alignment shop will just fix it to where it's completely right. But for now, that should make it better and make it stop wearing on the inside as much. These were brand new tires. The rears have worn down probably 40 to 60% because of the rear end being all stupid with the shocks, and I'm pretty sure that the toe, so camber is this way on the wheel, top to bottom, and toe is this way for the angle of, like the, whenever somebody says you're pigeon-toed or whatever, it's your toe. And I think that the toe on the rear is off, which is why I'm going to take it to get the alignment done tomorrow. They should be able to fix the toe. If not, I think maybe I have to replace that. I believe that one there is the toe angle adjustment, and it's all worn out just like everything else is. So now I've got new camber arms, I've got new shocks, I've got new stabilizer links. That tow arm right there, and then of course the control arm itself and the housing itself, because these bushings are 8 up. See them in there, they're 8 up, are the only thing left to replace on the suspension pieces. But I think I'm gonna call that a wrap. It's put together except for the tire going back on, which obviously nothing really to see there. I'm gonna go do the other side, and I'm gonna take it for a drive and see, you know, how it feels and if the squeaking noises have went away, because that was really getting annoying. It was every time I hit a small little bump, it would squeak, squeaks, grind, squeak. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for coming along with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it, got something out of it. If you think I'm an idiot for doing what I did, fine, whatever. Hopefully you enjoyed the video anyway. But I couldn't stomach spending $1,000 on new shocks. These shocks cost me $180 for both of them. I spent, I think, $30 a piece for the bushing kits that I just used to fix it. Like $8 for the metal sleeve. Like $8 for the bushings that are inside of the shock. And then of course my time and effort. But I think it's going to be a lot better after this, and I don't think I'm going to have to tackle this again. So anyway, thanks for coming along with me. Hopefully, like I said, you guys got a little bit of enjoyment, or, you know, you could sit back in your chair and laugh at the stupid things that I'm doing. Either way, I think that's a wrap. Guys, have a great day, a great weekend. It's Friday night. I'll see you on the next one. Love you guys.